The shocking truth about the three heavens in the Bible that nobody knows about. All right, let's be real. Have you ever stopped to think about what heaven is actually like? Is it some glowing paradise in clouds, filled with angels playing harps? Or is there something way bigger going on? Most people imagine heaven as this perfect, peaceful place. But here's the twist. What if I told you there's not just one heaven, but three? And what if I told you that most of what we think we know about it is only scratching the surface? The Bible is filled with deep mysteries, and the concept of heaven is one of the most fascinating. But ancient scriptures reveal that there's a structure, a divine order, and a purpose behind the heavens that most people have never heard of. Stick around, because today we're diving deep into the hidden truth about the three heavens, what they really are, why they matter, and what they mean for believers. Trust me, you don't want to miss this one. And hey, before we get started, if you love exploring the deep truths of the Bible, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Here, we uncover the Word like never before, bringing you biblical insights that strengthen your faith. The hidden truth about heaven. All right, picture this. You're standing in the middle of a vast, endless sky. Everything around you is light, pure, radiant, almost overwhelming. But then, as you look closer, you notice something strange. There's not just one sky. There are layers, dimensions stacked on top of each other, each one more mysterious than the last. And here's the wildest part. This isn't fantasy. This is what ancient scriptures have been telling us all along. For centuries, people have imagined heaven as a single place, a golden paradise, filled with angels and eternal peace. But what if I told you that heaven isn't just one realm, but three? And what if I told you that each one has a unique purpose, a divine structure that few truly understand? The Bible speaks of the heavens in plural, hinting at something far greater than what we've been taught. From the skies above us to the celestial realms beyond human sight, the true nature of heaven is more complex and more awe-inspiring than we ever imagined. Stick with me, because today we're uncovering the hidden truth about the three heavens, what they are, how they work, and why they matter more than ever. But before we dive in, if you love deep biblical insights like this, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. The first heaven, what we see but rarely think about. All right, let's start with the first heaven, the one we see every single day but rarely stop to think about. The Bible refers to it simply as the heavens, and in modern terms, we call the sky the atmosphere, the realm where birds soar and clouds drift lazily above us. Seems simple, right? But here's where it gets interesting. This first heaven isn't just a beautiful backdrop for sunrises and starry nights. It's the very thing that sustains life on Earth. The air we breathe, the water cycle that feeds our crops, the invisible forces that hold everything in balance. It's all part of this grand design. And if you look at it through a biblical lens, you start to realize something incredible. Think about it. God could have made the sky plain dull, just a necessity. But instead, He designed it with stunning sunsets, mesmerizing constellations, and storms that remind us of His power. The first heaven is a constant, living testimony of God's presence, surrounding us in ways we often overlook. And here's something even deeper. The Bible describes the sky as a boundary, a firmament that separates the earth from the greater realms beyond. In Genesis, it says God stretched out the heavens like a curtain. Sounds poetic, but what if it's more literal than we realize? But the first heaven is just the beginning. Beyond the skies, beyond what we can see with our eyes, lies the second heaven, a realm where the real battle is happening right now. And trust me, you're going to want to hear about this. The second heaven, the unseen battlefield. All right, now this is where things get intense. We talk about the first heaven, the sky above us, the world we see. But beyond that, past the clouds and into the unknown, lies something way more mysterious, the second heaven. And let me tell you, this is not a place of peace and beauty. This is the realm of spiritual warfare. The Bible gives us glimpses of this hidden battleground, a place where angels and demons clash, where forces beyond our understanding are constantly at war. Ever wonder why prayers sometimes feel like they take time to be answered? Or why struggles seem to come out of nowhere? Well, the answer might just lie here. In the book of Daniel, there's an incredible moment where the prophet prays for understanding, but the answer doesn't come immediately. Instead, an angel appears 21 days later and reveals that he was delayed. Why? Because he was fighting against a dark spiritual prince in this very realm. Think about that for a second. A battle so intense that even angels are held back. That means what happens in the second heaven directly affects what happens on earth. And whether we realize it or not, we're all caught in the middle of it. But here's the thing. This war isn't fought with swords and shields. It's a battle of influence, of deception versus truth. The enemy's goal? To blind us, to distract us, to keep us from seeing the bigger picture. And the biggest mistake we can make is pretending it's not happening. But don't worry, because beyond this chaos, above it all, there's a place where peace reigns, where victory is already written. And that's exactly where we're heading next. The third heaven, the place where God himself dwells. The third heaven, the dwelling place of God. Now, if the first heaven is a sky and the second heaven is a battlefield, then the third heaven is something beyond words. This is the ultimate realm, the very dwelling place of God, the seat of his power, the place where eternity begins. The Apostle Paul gives us one of the clearest glimpses of this when he says he was caught up to the third heaven. And what he saw, he couldn't even describe it. He simply called it paradise, a place so holy, so overwhelming, that human language wasn't enough to explain it. And this makes sense, right? I mean, think about it. Every vision of heaven we see in the Bible is filled with jaw-dropping imagery. Streets of gold, gates of pearl, thrones surrounded by blazing light. But here's what's even more important. Heaven isn't just a beautiful place. It's a place of absolute perfection, where God's presence is so powerful that nothing impure can exist there. That's why sin separates us. It's not just about rules. It's about being able to stand in that presence. Heaven isn't just a reward. It's the ultimate destination, the place where everything broken is made whole. And the only way to get there? Through the one who made the way. Jesus himself said, I go to prepare a place for you. That's the promise. That's the hope. The third heaven isn't some distant, untouchable realm. It's the future home for those who choose to follow him. And trust me, it's a future worth fighting for. But here's the big question. If we know about these three heavens, what does it actually mean for us today? How does this knowledge change the way we live, the way we pray, the way we see the world? That's exactly what we're about to uncover. What the three heavens mean for us today. So now that we understand the three heavens, the sky above us, the battlefield of the spiritual realm, and the dwelling place of God, the big question is, what does this mean for us? Why does this knowledge even matter? Well, here's the thing. Once you see the world through this lens, you can't unsee it. You start to realize that life isn't just about what we see with our eyes. There's a bigger reality at play. The struggles we face, they're not just random. The moments of peace, they're not just coincidences. Everything is connected to this unseen structure of heaven. Think about it. If the first heaven is a reflection of God's beauty and provision, then every sunrise, every breath we take is a reminder that he's still in control. If the second heaven is a battleground, then our challenges, doubts, and temptations aren't just personal struggles. They're part of a greater spiritual conflict. And if the third heaven is our final destination, then every decision we make here on earth is leading us somewhere. And that's why understanding the three heavens changes everything. It shifts our perspective. It makes us realize that our prayers matter more than we think, that our battles have deeper roots, and that our hope isn't in this world. It's in the one that's coming. So here's my challenge for you. What if, starting today, you began to see life differently? What if you woke up every morning knowing that you're part of something bigger, that every challenge is a battle worth fighting? Every act of kindness is a reflection of heaven, and every step you take is leading you toward the presence of God. Because in the end, that's what truly matters. Not just knowing about heaven, but living in a way that prepares us for it. And hey, if this video helped you see things from a new perspective, do me a favor. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Let's keep diving deeper, learning more, and growing in faith together.